The Russian attacks on Ukraine have strained relations with the West, primarily with the United States. Even though both countries may appear as adversaries to each other, they have to collaborate in many areas. The International Space Station, operating at an altitude of 400 kilometers, is only one of the cooperation areas. Russia had been threatening to leave the space station program. This country is now decisive to do so. But the question is about the future of the ISS. Can the space station survive without Russia? To understand what is going on, let's take a brief look at the complex and fascinating history of the ISS. In 1984, the concept of a space station was proposed by US President Ronald Reagan. In 1998, the first module of the ISS, called Zarya, a Russian module, was launched into orbit. This marks the beginning of the station's assembly in space. The Zarya module has a crucial role. It serves as the control module for the early stages of the ISS. It provides crucial propulsion, power distribution, and communications capabilities. The module contains the station's primary computers and control systems. Zarya is equipped with solar panels that generate electricity to power the station's systems. Zarya has its own propulsion system that was used to raise the station to its operational orbit and perform orbital adjustments. It helps in maintaining the ISS's proper orbit and orientation. This module has storage space for equipment and supplies, contributing to the station's self-sufficiency. Alongside Russia, NASA also controls critical aspects of the space station's operations. Currently, Russia is in charge of the space station's propulsion control systems, responsible for administering regular boosts that maintain the ISS's orientation and prevent it from descending out of orbit. If Russia were to withdraw support, it would likely require the transfer of control over this machinery to NASA or its replacement. The Russian government has agreed to extend its involvement in the International Space Station until at least 2028. NASA says it is committed to the safe operation of the International Space Station through 2030. Of course, there is not an immediate crisis aboard the station. Multiple commercial space station projects funded by the US are set to replace the ISS by the decade's end. However, Russia's withdrawal raises concerns about the collaborative and international nature of future space endeavors. Despite the political neutrality intended for the ISS, Russia leveraged it in 2014 to pressure the US regarding the annexation of Crimea. This was critical as NASA depended on Russian Soyuz rockets for transportation. The situation improved when SpaceX began transporting NASA astronauts in 2020, reducing dependence on Russia. Russia again threatened to exit the space station partnership in 2021 due to US sanctions. Tensions escalated when Russia destroyed a spy satellite, generating space debris that posed a potential threat to the ISS. Despite external pressures, NASA aimed to maintain normal operations on the ISS. Behind the scenes, the US is actively exploring alternatives for an ISS without Russia. Northrop Grumman proposed building a propulsion system to replace Russia's contribution. However, with plans to vacate the ISS by the end of the decade, efforts to sustain it without Russia may only provide a temporary solution. In addition to the US's development of new commercial space stations, Russia and India plan to launch their own national space stations in the coming decade. Tensions between Europe and Russia have already affected their space collaboration, with delayed satellite launches due to sanctions. The space race's historical context reveals a pattern of both competition and cooperation between the US and Russia. While the current outlook seems uncertain, the prospect of collaboration, as seen during the Cold War, cannot be entirely ruled out. The dynamics of competition and cooperation in space endeavors have been a recurring theme in the relationship between the two nations. Yes, if Russia withdraws from the ISS and disconnects its modules, the remaining nations could keep the station in orbit, but it would require time, money, and effort. The US supplies electricity and stability control, and Russian spacecraft boost the station to its target orbit. Finding a replacement for this role would be a key focus to sustain the station without Russia.